All right. Hello and welcome back, all of you. I was going to say all of you focus otters. We are not on my YouTube right now. Welcome back, Amplify with Friends community. It's great to be here. I have a very special guest today. We have Vadim Savin, which is just an awesome name to say, by the way. Um, he is with us. Now, he carries with us a bunch of experience on YouTube and being a community builder and all that fun stuff that we'll get into. We'll definitely get into that stuff. But as always, I love to hear how you're doing, chat. Where are you from? What's the weather like? What's going on? Are you building anything fun? I'm always curious, and I do this every time. I'm just always curious to see what you all are up to. Um, Real quick, I think we're kind of side by side. Let me see if I can. There we go. So we got a different layout here now. As those comments are coming in, and as the chat is engaging with us and letting us know what's going on, Vadim, how have you been?
Hi, Michael. Thank you. Been good. Busy with a lot of stuff, producing a lot of content, courses, tutorials, diving deep into a lot of technologies. So yeah, pretty excited about everything that I'm doing. So
Awesome,
by the
awesome.
way, hello to everyone who is joining us on Twitch or on your channel. Hi guys, glad to be here, and thank you very much for the opportunity to be in front of all of you.
Oh yeah, for sure, for sure. Now, streaming is no strange field to you. You stream all the time.
Yeah, I stream all the time, but most of the time, like I'm very focused on a topic, or I'm teaching something, so it's mostly like a lecture. In this format, like interview or something like that, like it's quite new for me, but I'm pretty excited.
Sounds good. Now, a little just to bring everybody else up to speed. You and I, we've kind of known each other for a little while now.
Yeah,
We started as community builders back in the day. I mean, back when it
yeah.
first started. So, in fact, we were on a Twitch stream
Yes.
together with AWS before I joined AWS, which is just crazy, like how time has flown.
Yes, I remember after we met at that call with AWS, I saw that you are starting working with them, and it was so exciting for me.
That's how we do it. We just lift each other up.
Yeah,
Oh man. But this isn't about me today. This is about you and what you got going on. Can you let me segue this for a little bit. So for those of you that are unaware, the AWS Community Builders program is a special program that we have to acknowledge some of our biggest contributors in the AWS field when it comes to content creation, community engagement, things of that nature. A lot of perks that come along with that, like swag and cool glasses and hoodies and backpacks. Um, but I think the biggest part is that you get to meet amazing folks. That's how Vadim and I met. In addition to hundreds of others now throughout the world, we come together in a special group, and it's a really awesome experience. Now, the cohort that I lead is the front end web and mobile group, and that's the one that Vadim is also a part of. Can you give us a little bit of your perspective and your experience on the Community Builders program?
yeah, it's been great. First of all, like I felt very honored to be invited there, and I appreciate that the team at AWS are doing a great job at engaging with the people that are there to spread the world about the word about the awesome tech that they are building, and I think this is important. And yeah, it's been great. A lot of like-minded folks there that are always trying new stuff. They're doing content. They're trying to contribute with everything that they can to spreading the word about everything AWS is doing. But I'm talking mostly specifically about Amplify and the front end team.
Yeah, definitely. There's a lot of cool folks in there, members from different aspects of the community, startups, enterprises, just builders and general creators of all sorts. So if you are interested in getting to be a part of this program, we have cohorts come out typically every quarter or so. You check out Vadim, myself, or anyone else on Twitter or social profiles. We post updates of when that stuff comes out, and applications will be ready then. So
Yeah, I encourage everyone to apply.
yeah, it's a good time. It really
Yeah.
is. So with that said, I do want to go ahead and talk about what you have going on currently. I mean, you have had some pretty good success on YouTube. Can you speak to what you do and what your channel is all about?
Yeah, definitely. Actually, I prepared a couple of slides for that
Oh,
to
perfect.
help
Let's bring those
me
up.
to help me present everything.
Yeah,
Uh,
there we
yes.
go.
So first of all, hi everyone, and for everyone who doesn't know me, my name is Vadim. I'm a full stack developer with a lot of experience in both startup world, companies, small companies, and also I worked at Amazon as an SDE. I don't know if you know that, Michael, but yeah, I did an internship.
Oh, I do my history. I do my background checks. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
For those that don't know, SDE, software development
developer
engineer.
engineer.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've done it in Luxembourg, and it was very nice. Uh, we can talk about that experience a bit later because I have a couple of things to share about that as well. But yeah, like at the moment, like I'm trying to give back to the world, to the community, everything that I know, all my knowledge and my experience that I gathered through different work experience and building a couple of startups. So everything that I'm doing right now and all my experience, I'm putting under like, I don't know, a lens and focusing all of it on the Node.js development, which is educational platform that has the goal of actually empowering and educating developers to be able to build things on their own, to be able to take a project from start to end, and to try to think that we're not just a developer that can build applications. We're there to serve a bigger purpose, and they have a very powerful tool in their hands to actually change the world. So this is my message to the community, and this is what I'm trying to do with Node.js development. Mainly, we do free tutorials on YouTube that you can find on the Node.js.dev channel. And our content at the moment is mostly focused on mobile development, and that's why it is a lot of React Native with AWS Amplify content there. So it's like 90% we are focusing on this because I love building mobile applications. More and more people are using and browsing and doing everything from their mobile phone. And with these two technologies like React Native and AWS Amplify, like sky is the limit. You have so much power. It's only like to have ideas and to have a dedication to actually implement them um, and deliver them to the market and help a bunch of users out there. So I like very much the project-based way of learning because this is, first of all, how I actually learned everything that I know. It wasn't like, I don't know, through reading books or stuff like that. It was actually just starting and building actual projects, building startups when I didn't know any technologies, or building something when I was not ready. Taking like a client project that is using, let's say, Laravel, but I have no idea what Laravel is. But then I get into that, I actually start building, and that's how I learn. And that's, I think, how it is the best way to learn. And as well, it is fun because you are building something at the same time and learning. So let me see.
That's awesome. Vadim, when you're saying weed, do you have a team that you work
Uh,
with as well?
Yes, I have a small team that is helping me, but yeah, I am working full time, and I have a team that is helping part
Full
time.
okay, I'm sorry to interject, but like full-time YouTuber, is that what you're
Yeah,
saying? Oh,
yeah.
that's the dream. That's like my childhood dream that I could
It's not
I
just
just
YouTube. Yeah, it's everything
Oh,
around
yeah,
with that
right, right.
development.
You have a
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
whole platform. But you
Yes,
do this full time.
yes. I
Ah,
I transitioned to this full time
that's
previous
nice.
summer, so I have almost 1 year, and yeah, it's a dream job. A
Okay,
lot of
okay, go ahead. What were
responsibility, yeah, but
you-
have opportunity to meet a lot of people and to help a lot of people.
For sure.
So because because I love so much the project-based learning. That's actually how we do everything. So that's why on my channel you will find clones of mostly all the applications that you have on your phone. Here I just included a couple of them, but we have like more than 23 projects that we have cloned with React Native and AWS Amplify. So this is a fun part of doing this, because you're not just I don't know, learning, let's say, authentication with AWS Amplify, or learning data modeling and so on. No, you are actually building a chatting application similar to WhatsApp, and by doing that, of course, you're learning authentication, you're learning how to synchronize all the data and so on. So we're doing this in a very fun way, and yeah, the community loves this approach, and yeah, doubling down on this.
And
So
when you do that,
yeah,
those are you're streaming it, so like you're engaging with your audience. You're not just sort of putting out a video like myself. Like I put out videos to show folks, you know, how to do stuff, but you have back and forth communication as you're building it live with folks. Is that right?
yes, that's right. Like, we are doing this everything live, and yeah, I have this opportunity. Actually, my whole um, content planning is around the community, and we are doing things that people want us to do. So we gather a lot of ideas because people have a lot of ideas. They want to see every possible application out there built with React Native and AWS Amplify, which is amazing. And we get all these ideas, and like before the stream, before we decide what we're gonna do next, like we do a poll, and the community decides what we're doing. But yeah, like the live streams part is quite, it has its benefits and it has its drawbacks. And initially I thought that there were going to be more drawbacks, because first of all, it takes more time. You, for example, have to wait until npm installs all the libraries,
Hmm.
which sometimes take time, or until you deploy everything and so on. But the good part is that people get to see it live. People get to ask questions right at the moment when it might be not clear, or I need to explain something better, which is a very engaging way of doing it with a live audience. And another thing that initially I was afraid of, and then like the community said that this is actually why they are watching, is the thing that if you are doing it live, you will obviously get into issues, into errors, into things that you do not plan ahead. So when this happens, like my first live streams, I was panicking, like, oh my god, like people will think that I'm a bad developer. But the more time passed, like people were commenting and telling me that this is why they're watching it, because they can see a very realistic way of developing these applications. They see how I think when I get into the errors, how I
Yeah.
debug them, how I search, maybe even on Stack Overflow sometimes, how to sort an array. But they get to see it, and what's more important is that they see whenever they get into these errors, they don't feel that they're a bad developer. They
Mm.
feel that, okay, this is part of a process. Like, not, it's not only me that are doing this, because a lot of time you would watch like these perfect tutorials that for them like makes everything clear, like no errors, and you start and you get into the first error and you think like, oh my god, like why for them like it's working, but for me it's always errors. And
It's
you
like this
start having
magical
this.
place where just nothing bad happens. It's
Yeah,
just
yeah.
edited out.
Yes, exactly. Like when you see edited videos, like most definitely the tutor went through some problems and they edited it out. So yeah, like just yeah, this is part of a process, because I also edit some of the videos. But yeah, just think about that. This is part of a process, and don't feel demotivated when you go through these errors, because we all do, and we all Google them.
For sure, for sure. You're getting some love in the chat. You know, some folks
Yeah,
they on Twitch as well. So we're streaming on Twitch and YouTube right now. Folks from all over, they know you. Seems like they love your content.
that's so
So
nice.
yeah, it looks like you know you're doing an awesome job, and folks are really resonating with your approach.
Thank you very much, guys. Thank you. Yeah, so going back to what we were talking about, the projects that I'm doing, what I want to talk a bit more today is the latest project that we have done. And this was an actual event. It wasn't just a simple tutorial, it was a challenge, a 5 days intensive challenge that we have done in the previous week. Yeah, we just finished it. It was hard. It was 5 days of streaming. Most of the days were like 5 hours of content, 5 hours being live and building these applications. But it was fun. We had like an amazing application at the end, like, because now I'm thinking like, should I leave it free on YouTube or like, because a lot of tutors like will just create a course out of it. So this our goal in this challenge, the Uber Eats 5 days challenge, was to implement a couple of applications from the whole system of Uber Eats application. And here I'm talking about any delivery and yeah, like food delivery applications or any multi-sided marketplaces where we have more stakeholders and more applications that have to interact between each other. So our goal with this project was to create, first of all, the user application from where he will be able to see all the available restaurants. He'll be able to see the menu, add things to the basket, order, and so on. Also to track his orders, very important. Then we went into the driver side application that is going to be used by the couriers to pick up orders, to get the direction to the restaurant, to the user, and so on. And lastly, the restaurant dashboard, which was a web application intended for the restaurants managers to manage their orders, menu, and so on. I'm going to get into a lot more details about them shortly, and it's going to make more sense. So our plan for the 5 days challenge started with building the user application UI with React Native, and we did that in the first day. It was an amazing stream. It was probably 5 hours, but we managed to we set a very high scope for this project. Like usually like in a 3-4 hours with proper explanation of everything, not just jumping through. I managed to do like a couple of screens, like 3-4 main screens from an application. But here we went crazy and we did a lot of screens, a lot of features like baskets, detail screens, and so on.
And this is from the community. Like the community was like, hey, we want to see like an Uber Eats clone. And you were like, YOLO, let's do it.
Yeah, actually, yeah, it was very, very pulled by the community, specifically after we did the Uber clone, which was very successful on the channel. Everyone like, we want to see Uber Eats, like, yeah. And it was interesting for the Uber Eats, the synchronization and connecting multiple applications to the same backend. Because for a lot of people, that was the confusing part, like, do you need to create a new backend? Do you connect to the same one? And how it's working?
Oh, you mean between the web app and the React Native app?
And also the user application and driver application, which are two separate independent projects, two separate applications.
So you had 3 apps?
Yes, exactly.
Oh, okay. I thought it was just the 2, and then the 2 mobile apps were sharing. They were like different
They are
portals.
completely free, different applications.
Oh, wow.
Connected to the same backend. Yeah.
Okay. And I just want to pause here on that screen. For folks that aren't aware of AWS Amplify, essentially what we're doing is it gives you a way to interact with AWS, but it's geared towards front-end developers. So you have a CLI that you can interact with. We have other elements as well. We have a graphical user interface that you can touch base on as well. But the whole idea behind it is that you now have this easier way of building out these very complex primitives and services from AWS and bringing them into an application geared towards web apps and mobile apps. So like it's a perfect combination of, React and Amplify, or React Native and Amplify. So it's a pretty powerful stack, and it looks like Vadim is taking full advantage of that.
Definitely, yeah. Amplify is making a lot of the things way easier. Like without Amplify, doing everything myself with I don't know, a Node.js backend, I don't know. Probably I would have need, but I will not guess. Actually, I worked on a very similar set of applications for a client, and I worked at that project for 2 years.
Wow.
And we also like had like user application from where also restaurants, very similar, a little bit more features, but you can get the understanding of building something with tools like Amplify in 5 days and spending like 2 years on building it yourself, like with Node.js, like only for authentication. Doing it myself would need like, I don't know, a couple of weeks to make sure that all the edge cases are covered, security is in place, and so on. With Amplify, I did it probably in 2 minutes or 3 minutes.
Yeah, it's probably the easiest thing to put together is authentication and Amplify.
Yeah.
And it blows my mind because you're right. Back in the day, being old school here, back in the day, it was something that you just dreaded doing.
Yeah. Yeah. Now you just add it with a simple command and that's it.
Right.
So yeah, during the day 2, we implemented the backend for the user application using AWS Amplify. Day 3, we started working on the driver side, and the day 4, we connected the driver side to our backend, to the AWS Amplify backend. And in the day 5, we were meant to do the dashboard, but we decided to polish and finish some of the important features, and also to implement the real-time data synchronizations between the user application and the driver application. So every time the driver moves on the map, the user will automatically see on his device where is his order in real life, in real time. So this was one of the coolest features that I wanted to showcase, and we did that in the day 5. Yes, we've done everything with AWS Amplify when it comes to the backend. And as I said, like it helped us a lot. It sped up the process like tremendously to implement this, and it made it possible. So we started setting up our project using Amplify Studio, and Amplify Studio is a great tool for designing and also managing your backend with a visual editor, which is really nice because when I started, we didn't have Amplify Studio. We were doing everything with CLI. And actually, I love all the processes, like doing them with a CLI. I don't know, like all the Git processes with CLI. But with Amplify, like there is so much power in this studio of building and creating everything that now I mostly always set up everything with Amplify. And from my project, I just pull the backend there.
Oh, nice. Yeah, which is a super good approach. For those of you that don't know, what he's showing right now is Amplify Studio, which just launched GA on the 21st, I think last Wednesday.
Yes.
So this is fully out in the open. Use it for production. The cool thing is, and I don't think you probably used it at the time of your stream, is as you make your designs in, say, Figma, Amplify will recognize those and bring in your design files and turn those into React components. And then it like takes it to the next level. And it takes those React components and it binds it to what you're seeing here. Yeah, this, for example, this social post. Super powerful stuff. And then, like you said, you do a simple Amplify pull, and it'll take all of that information, the components, the data, bring it into your application, and you never have to worry about any of it. Like, it's just so easy. So
actually, yeah, when I found out about that feature, it was announced at the AWS reInvent, right? It was mind blowing to me. I didn't have time to get into that because I'm mostly with React Native. But actually, for the dashboard, that might be a good idea to give it a try, because we didn't finish that dashboard for this project, and we're gonna do it in the following weeks. So that might be a good time to test like Figma to React.js. I'm really curious how it works and how it goes, because like it sounds brilliant. Like,
yeah, super awesome stuff. A lot of new features that were just added since reInvent. So if anyone watching this needs help with that, hit me up, hit up the Amplify team, join our Discord, all that good stuff. But I'll let you get on with the slides here.
Okay, so after setting up everything with Amplify, we started setting up our authentication with also Amplify, but behind the scenes, like there is an an AWS service called Cognito that is managing all the authentication logic and data. It's super simple to implement it with Amplify, as I said before. Like in a React Native application, like after you just deploy it on the Amplify Studio, in your code, you need to import one line and you need to wrap your application with like one function, and that's it. Like you have full authentication flow with sign up, sign in, forget password, with email confirmation, with a couple of settings like you can have like social sign-ins. Yeah, it's amazing. Like I remember, I always make this comparison. Like I remember at my previous startup that I was working, one of the last things that I was working on was signing with Apple. And I think I spent like a good 1 week on setting it up, on making sure like how I'm managing all the data, making sure that everything is secure, making sure to connect like accounts if the same user signs in with different social providers. Like it's a hassle to do it yourself.
Okay.
But with Amplify, like you simply put the API key from signing with Apple, and you have it there in your application. Yeah,
It's crazy. It's crazy just how simple that, and yeah, it's a true testament to. I mean, big shout out to our engineering team. You know, the
yeah,
folks that are pushing out these features, listening to customers, bringing in feedback, and I mean, I guess it's a very similar approach to what you're doing with your streams. Is, you know, listening to your customers, your viewers in this case.
yep.
You're like, that's what you want. All right, let's do it. And you know, we take a very similar approach.
Yeah, that's nice. And I see the speed of how everything moves there, which is impressive. The cool part is like it's simple to integrate, but at the same time, like it doesn't limit you to what is by default. So if you have very custom requirements for your application or design for your application, you're not limited to the default user interface that Amplify provides you for easier getting started. You can actually build the whole system yourself and simply connect your forms with a simple call to the API module, and that's it. Like you, at the same time, it's very easy, but usually when it's easy, it's not flexible. But here, like it's easy and also it's flexible if you need these flexibilities and if you need to adjust it based on your design.
Yeah, that's one of the cool things. We had a question come in from Carlos here, saying, "Hey, what's up? How can you make a backup of your users with Amplify?" There's actually a couple ways you could do it, depending on how you're storing your users. If you have a user table, then it becomes as simple as doing something like you know, exporting that or creating a duplicate from DynamoDB. If you have it incognito, it becomes a little bit trickier because Cognito it has this concept of user pools. So all of your users are going to be inside of this one user pool, which is an AWS service. So in terms of backups, I guess I don't understand the use case here. Do you mean like if you were to lose customers or users within your application? But let me know down in the chat. Unless Vadim, do you have any insight on that?
No, like as well, like as you said, like if you just think about the security and not to lose your data, these things are taken care by the user pool service, and they are properly backed up and stored on different servers. So most probably, if even like one, I'm not gonna say the the word like catching fire like a server, and like it's safe. It's not stored only one place, as far as I know. Like I am talking as an outsider.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, let us know if you have some additional info to pull in with that question. But we have another one come in. You know, does the AWS free tier offer access to Amplify, and is there a limit on, you know, things like API calls, usage, etc.? I can field that one, and what I'll say is that under the hood, Amplify is just a wrapper around existing AWS services. So in terms of, you know, what's on the free tier, whatever you're using, in this case, Cognito will give you 50,000 users for free, which is like a crazy amount to me. And then when you have something like Amplify add function, that's going to bring in a Lambda function, and you're being charged whatever the price is for that Lambda, nothing extra just because you're using Amplify. Now, Amplify, the tool chain, is different from Amplify, the hosting service. We have an Amplify console, Amplify hosting, that you could take advantage of. And that has its own separate pricing because now you're hosting your application. It's all managed for you. A couple clicks, you have your site, or you have your site live on the web. So there's I think there's a free tier with that one, and then it's typical hosting prices. You're paying for retrieval and the amount of data stored, etc. But for the vast majority, any Amplify service you see Vadim show or that we have listed, if it has a free tier, then that's the pricing model for it. Nothing extra. Cool.
Hey, thank you very much.
Oh, that's Abdallah. Abdallah, what's up? Abdallah is one of the PMs on the Amplify team.
Yeah.
He was checking out your content. He is amazing, and I think this is a little sneak peek. We might be.
We can remove the slides because I'm mostly done there.
Okay.
If we are taking questions.
Yeah. He's amazing, and it might be leading a little bit, but we would love to collaborate in the future on some products.
Let's see. I'm also interested. Yeah.
For
I
sure.
met a lot of folks from AWS during previous office hours that we did on Discord.
Oh yeah, nice. I did see that you were in there, folks. We have a Discord, which is awesome. If you have Amplify questions and need help, or just want to help out other folks and share what you're working on, definitely check it out. I got some links that I can throw out for everybody. Vadim, we do have a question on where they can find your content.
Yes, you can find the content searching notjust.dev on YouTube. You'll find there most of all of our free content. Also the website notjust.dev. I'm posting there from time to time blogs. I need to get better at that, more consistency. But yeah, most of our focus is on YouTube. We're doing live tutorials every week. So go there, subscribe if you're interested in learning Amplify, React Native, and other tools that we are using there.
That's awesome. I do want to ask, maybe just broaden this up a little bit, of your time developing and streaming, essentially working on YouTube. What has that been like? What are some tips? So myself, I have 900 subscribers compared to your, where are you at these days?
I don't know.
Don't be bashful.
45. 45.
45,000.
Yeah.
So needless to say, you're doing well.
Thank you.
What are some tips that you can throw out so that maybe me, actually, I'm just asking for me. What can I? What are some tips that you can give me that have helped you along the way?
Okay, I'm gonna start with the most, probably you heard it a lot of times, but I'm gonna emphasize it one more time for YouTube specifically.
Yeah.
It's consistency. When I started being consistent, once a week, then I started getting, seeing consistent growth as well. Another thing that, some of the discoveries that I've made were around, the content types. And initially, I was trying to do a lot of edited videos because I was thinking, if I'm gonna go live for 2 hours, nobody is gonna be willing to invest 2 hours in watching a video from someone they first met. So that was my concept, and that was my idea. And I thought that I have to do these short videos because it's much easier to watch a 10 minutes video than a 4 hours video. The short videos were not performing at all, zero completely. I was back then, let's say 100 subscribers, and they were bad. But I saw that I have done a couple of live streams, for some challenges, for some coding, more technical, and I saw that they were working. And I'm spending a bit less time doing the live streams because back then I was just going live and that's it. I was doing little preparation. Now I do a lot of preparation to make sure that we are on the point. But yeah, I saw that they are working. It takes less time. Let's give it a go. So I started with these projects. I thought to myself, okay, let's pick something. Actually, I'm more of a backend guy. I'm more of this data structure algorithms. I'm very much into that. But I thought that it's gonna be quite boring to to teach that. I mean, it's not a lot of visuals that you can see. So yeah, for that reason, I decided let's go with something more visual, something that people can build and they can see it right away in their hands, like with a mobile application. And for that as well, I needed some backend for it. I was hearing a lot about AWS Amplify. At that time, I didn't give it a try, but I was using AWS a lot. I was also AWS certified. I was managing the whole infrastructure of my startup on AWS and actually created it and designed. So I was a lot into AWS. Then I went into AWS Amplify, and it blew my mind like how easy it makes these things. And I take the opportunity in all the tutorials to explain people like just for them to understand what's happening behind the scenes when they just do Amplify add authentication or Amplify add API, like how many how many services it's spinning up, how many connections, how many security rules, YAM policies, YAM roles, and so on.
It's nuts.
And for me, coming from the time that I was doing everything myself, I was coding the infrastructure with CloudFormation, going through a lot of troubles, learning a lot about how to do it in a best practice, because our application was at that time was being used by more than 20,000 users. So I was trying to make sure that first it's fast, it's secure, and also it's cost efficient, because we were at an early stage as a startup. So I was doing a lot of that, and now seeing that you can do these things with Amplify, yeah, it's mind blowing, because I don't have to worry that much on the security, on the best practices, on the scalability, because Amplify team already took that into consideration. And yeah, I'm a pretty humble person. I don't think I'm much smarter than the engineers working at at AWS. So yeah, like we just ride the wave that Amplify is doing for us, and we get this scalability, security, performance
I
out of
love
the
that.
box.
I love that. I always tell
I don't
folks,
know how it went here. Like your questions was a bit different, but yeah, like how I started, like
no,
basically.
no, it's great. It's great. I mean, basically, that's that's what you aim for on YouTube, and then you just kind of leverage standing on the shoulders of giants to get yourself even further. It goes back to a saying. I was just speaking with Adam Elmore, another AWS community builder, and he's like us, where he takes full advantage of Amplify, but he's a full stack developer, and he was saying he loves working by himself. He loves it because you get a very very small team, and the reason is because you can just get more done. There's less buy-in. You can just iterate really quickly. He was like, but um, there's always the trade-off of when you work with a big group, you usually get the best ideas because you have more things to bounce off. And what we ended up coming up with is that when you work by yourself, right, you can move very fast.
Yeah.
But when you work in a group, you can go very far. And the cool thing about Amplify is, like you said, you kind of get these engineers in your pocket so that you can do both now. You can go very far and move very fast because you have everybody else working with, best practices and policies and all that stuff already instilled.
Yeah, definitely.
Looks like we had a question pop in. Let's see here. Carlos, if you need to send email notifications on Amplify, what service do you prefer, SES or SNS? I have my thoughts on this, and I have a blog post on it. Vadim, what are your thoughts on this?
I didn't do a lot of things with emails, like with Amplify specifically. But in my experience, like whenever I had to implement these notification services and email services, like mostly I was doing them with SES. I was using SNS more for notifying and sending data between my internal services, like from a Lambda to a Lambda, or whenever something happens in one service, I fire an SNS notification to trigger another service like a Lambda or something like that. But specifically for email, I was using SES.
The same. I put in the chat here a blog post, or I'm sorry, a video that I have that has a blog post accompanied with it. But I go through that exact same scenario. And the thing is, if you're going to send a text message, use SNS, Simple Notification Service. Yes, you can send emails with it, but under the hood, that email service is likely using SES anyways. So like just use SES. And that's the cool thing about AWS is we leverage our own services to build other services. But SES, that's what it's there for. That's what folks like ConvertKit, they wrap that and they use it for all of their stuff. And if you want a full-on tutorial, it's on screen here, and definitely check that out and hope it helps. What do we got here? Another question from Brandon. Thanks for the great information. Will there be any upcoming videos regarding use with Amplify, CDK, and other resources such as step functions? Cool thing about that, I'm gonna go ahead and link a blog post that I have. This is the fun part about being a DA, right? Is like, oh, that's what you want? Let me go ahead and give you some content.
Nice. You have something for any question.
Well, it goes back. Like I only have that stuff because I've already been asked that question. So like, it's like, oh, that's what folks want. Let me go ahead and create content around that. So Brandon, I went ahead and I put in the chat here a link to a blog post where I actually use looking at that question again, all three of those to create an application, and it's a full stack app, and I hope that helps. Oh, let's see here. I love this game. Keep them coming. We have one more coming in here. I love all the engagement and all the interaction, folks. This is what it's all about. This is why we stream, so that we can answer your questions live. Take full opportunity to keep those questions coming. We love it. You have two experts here that know Amplify pretty well, I would say, and
a little bit.
Yeah, so it's what we're here for. Okay, what do we got? Where can we find the comprehensive list, functions, services provided by Amplify? Is there a corresponding catalog of React Native libraries supporting them? Let's
That
put this up.
documentation of Amplify is very, very good. So
Perfect.
Kudos to the team. Very good getting started guides, and also like more in depth on every service that there is. And like it's also categorized based on the framework that you're using. So like if you're using React Native, you go there, you see all the services that you can integrate there. And the cool part about Amplify is that the list doesn't stop there. So anything that is not on that list, you can actually integrate yourself like behind the scenes, like without that being managed by Amplify. I don't know. Let's say I'm going to give an example. Like you're building an application that has to do a lot with images or with videos, and you want to generate, for videos, you want to generate automatically thumbnails behind the scenes for every video. Like by default, if I'm not mistaken, Amplify doesn't support these services. But you could set up a service from AWS. If I'm not mistaken, it's called Media Convert. There are a couple of them. And you can set up a notification that every time you upload a video in your S3 bucket, that service will take that video, will generate a thumbnail, will probably process it, and will write it back. And from your Amplify side, like everything remains unchanged because you have set up additional things that you need in your application in the AWS itself. So you're not limited there. And anything that is not yet available, I'm pretty sure it's going to be possible like in future.
Yeah. We're fairly open source in the sense that you can find our libraries on GitHub. And in particular, the CLI itself is up on GitHub. So file an issue. One of those options that you can tag it is a feature request. And honestly, we just use like GitHub thumbs up, where if we get enough people like, hey, this is what we want to add, then that's what we typically put on our idea list to be like, hey, is this feasible to add in? Or, is it better to link to AWS? Like you're saying, like AWS already builds this. So do we wrap it and bring it into Amplify, or do we show folks how to use it with just raw AWS? That's the conversation we have, but it always starts with customer feedback.
Yeah.
Awesome, awesome. What do we got here? Would you recommend serverless over normal architecture, which I'm going to assume is server full, um, for a like buy sell mobile app? So something probably like an e-commerce situation here. Vadim, I think that's your wheelhouse.
My house. Um,
You have videos where you show how to ship to the app store, um, and I have stuff on e-commerce stuff as well. I think you do too. Like you have an Amazon clone.
yeah, yeah.
Would you recommend? I'm like leading you super hard here. Would you recommend Amplify
No,
for?
yeah, of course. Like nowadays, like specifically for like applications that we are building, which are non-enterprise, like startup applications or small applications, like at this point, I don't see a reason going into the server full and managing everything yourself and implementing everything yourself. Like that's actually when before starting with Amplify, I was hardcore Node.js, building everything there. On YouTube, like at one point I tried it, but I spent like 4 hours basically setting up a project and
Yeah,
implementing a very small feature. So like you're moving way slower doing it everything yourself. And this comes both for development time and also afterwards for maintaining the servers, making sure that everything is live. For example, previous week, the CTO that replaced me at the startup, we were working with him to debug an issue because the server just stopped working,
uh,
and yeah, like we had to SSH into it to understand, to look through the logs, to restart it, to patch some libraries, to see that Linux there is very outdated and it needs to be updated, and nobody has time to go there and do these things. So it's specifically for startups and small applications. Like you don't have that resources to manage everything yourself, and you'd better like go on the rocks of on the shoulders of a giant, and let AWS handle the servers for you.
for
Being
sure,
it
for sure.
like
I love that
with
answer. I'm gonna tweak it a little bit. Just because you said it specifically for startups and other products, I'm gonna tweak it to say especially,
especially.
because there's definitely lots of enterprises that take advantage of serverless as well. But you're right. Like when you get to be
I
that large, you typically have servers and containers probably
I
existing.
probably was referring more to Amplify, not to the whole serverless complex.
Oh yeah, yeah. So that's an interesting question. I actually get that quite a bit. Like, where does Amplify fit in the enterprise space, right?
Mhm.
Now we do have many customers that make it take advantage of Amplify. Cool fact that I can actually share. Some customers I can't share, I can. So Taco Bell uses
Ooh,
AWS Amplify, and I definitely think that they fall into the enterprise space.
okay. I need
And
to remember that.
NASCAR as well. Um, uses Amplify. It's AppSync, right, for real time data subscriptions.
Yeah.
So super cool stuff. It can be used, but I think the distinction I always like to make is that if you are using um, full Amplify, so Amplify as a tool chain, right? Every like just out of the box Amplify, there you get to a point where you start going into the unbeaten path, right?
Yeah.
You're on your own. Things can get tricky because you need more customizations. Enterprises have a lot of compliance things that you need to regulate.
Yeah.
Uh, but with extensibility, you can now interact with the CDK. And I think one of the cooler things that a lot of folks seem to it doesn't come across in the messaging with Amplify is that you can use it a la carte. Like you can just pick a feature of Amplify, like our libraries. You can use the Amplify libraries and forego the CLI in case you have existing infrastructure or things in place. And I think a lot of enterprises probably fit with that part. Like,
Mhm.
I just want a piece to make my life easier instead of
Yeah.
all of Amplify.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
Um, but no, good stuff. Good questions. I love the conversations here, folks. We are at the 50-minute mark. I want to thank Vadim for your time. This has been awesome having you. And like I said, we got to collab on some stuff in the future. Do you? I do want to ask. Audience, keep those questions coming in. They're awesome. But I do want to ask you. Do you have any hot takes? Let's for hot takes, um, things that are typically going to garner two different sides of opinions. Things that people are just like, ooh, I definitely agree, or no, I feel strongly that that's not the way. things you might
Actually,
things you might hear in the field. You know, use TypeScript over JavaScript, servers over serverless. Hot takes of that nature.
like I'm not that guy that has like that shares like hot takes opinions, and actually this was something like that I said that I'm gonna do more in this year, like to stand for my opinions and for my values.
Same, yeah.
Uh, because I was always like, someone was asking me like, Firebase or Amplify. Like, come on, like if you know Firebase, go with Firebase. If you
Right.
want to learn, like if you are here on this channel and you want to learn and you see the value of Amplify, come with Amplify. Like if you go with Firebase, I'm not gonna hate you. You're gonna be my friend. So like it's hard for me to hate on something or to take sides, and I'm always like on the safe side. But yeah, like some hot takes that are from my community is AWS Amplify versus Firebase. This is one of them. And yeah, I always say, like, if you already have some experience with Firebase, you can go there.
Yeah.
If you want to learn Amplify, come here. And if you don't have any experience, like, give Amplify a try, because it's as easy as Firebase, but it's much more flexible and powerful after you surpass that point where you just build some simple applications. So
Awesome.
yeah.
Love to hear. You're right. That was a tricky question because you're way too humble to have to be on the forefront of that. No, that's great. It speaks to your character. With that said, maybe a different question here. Let's see here. What can I ask? What are some picks? Do you have, like, give me 3 things, tech related or not, of things that you find interesting that folks should check out? If it was a good show, a good book, or a course that somebody built recently using Amplify. What are your picks these days?
Yeah, definitely. So let's talk about that. Like, I have a couple of slides. Yeah, for everyone who wants to improve their skills with building full stack mobile applications with React Native and AWS on the AWS Amplify on the backend side, I have something actually going on right now. This week we launched our premium course. Can you share the slides?
Yeah, there we go.
Yes, we launched our premium course. I've been working on it for the last eight months, and there I put everything that that I know about AWS Amplify and React Native, and I'm trying to help you to actually get to a point where you will be able to take a mobile application from start till the end, both front end, back end. Deploying it to Google Store, Apple Store, setting up everything there, testing your application,
That's
implementing
awesome.
all of these features, complex features like things that I'm not covering on YouTube, like push notifications, a following system, and a lot of other systems. We're doing this all with project-based. So in the course, we're going to build 2 real-world projects. One of them is Duolingo, and another one is Instagram, which is actually a full stack, like social media applications with all the features that it needs, all the basic, like the core features. So if you're interested, you're in luck, because the enrollments are live right now. We are open for enrollments up until next Monday on 2nd of May. And you can check it out at academy.notjust.dev. So yeah, thank you for that.
That's awesome. Yeah, for folks that are curious, I got thanks to how awesome Vadim is, I had early access to the course. I've taken it. It's amazing. You definitely need to check it out. I work in React a lot, and then I dabble in React Native. And obviously, like with the Amplify stuff, I'm more or less familiar with at this point. I learned so much from taking this course. It was amazing. There were some Amplify tricks that he was using that I wasn't aware of, and then that came with all the extra React Native content that he was able to put into this. It's amazing. It's well done, and I can't rate it highly enough. It's definitely a must check out.
Thank you very much, Michael. Thank you. Yeah, I actually pre-launch. I crowdsourced this course with our community, and more than 200 people enrolled when this course was just an idea back in
Wow.
August. And yeah, like slowly we started like with one module, next module, next module, and the last 8 months we were working on it. I was receiving feedback, like usually it's great feedback from the community, or something that could be done better or explained better, and then I'm improving this course as we go. And now it got to a point where it's a complete project, it's a complete product that people can join, and I'm super excited to share it with the public.
Definitely. After Monday, does it go away for a little bit, or
After Monday, like, and up until Monday, we enroll the next batch, because we want everyone to go like at a similar pace. The course is self-paced. You do it on your own time, but nonetheless, like, it's good that when everyone starts at the same time, like they can share. Like, we will
I
have
see.
meetings, internal meetings with everyone. We have our private community, so yeah, after 2nd May, like, the doors are closed, and I don't know when we're gonna open it next time. And by the way, I'm a very bad at sales, because I didn't mention the most important part. Only now, like, we have like the sale. We're running a sale for the launch period, and you can join the course with a 30% discount. So yeah,
Nice.
mention that.
Gotcha. So yeah, check it out now. Check it out while the cost is lower. Check it out because it's awesome. And it looks like I put a link to the your YouTube channel in the chat. So folks,
Thank you.
definitely follow Vadim if you're not following him already on YouTube to get up to speed on Amplify in React Native. I want to thank you for your time. This has been amazing. It's always good catching up to you, like I was saying, and I think folks are really loving your content, as you can see from the comments here.
I'm yeah, very thankful. I don't have a lot of words to say. Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you, Michael, for bringing me here and having the opportunity to talk with you. It's been a pleasure. Loved to share some ideas about Amplify, and I'm looking forward to join more the AWS community here as well. But in normal days, on Fridays, you can find me on YouTube. I am always live there.
Awesome. Thanks everybody for joining us. Always great to hear your comments. Keep them coming in. Hit us up on Twitter, YouTube, etc. But until then, happy coding, and we'll catch you all next time. Bye.
Bye.